It's good to be a part of the process. You don't listen.
We'll call this public hearing to order. The clerk, please call the roll.
Councilmember Sheldon.
Here.
Brackman. Karuba. Here. Olson. Nelson.
Here.
Eklund. Here. Graham Reinhardt. Here. Russell. President Bose.
Here. At this time, I'd like the clerk to read the public notice of the 2022 budget and capital improvement program.
Please take notice that pursuant to section C-39E of the Charter of the City of Jamestown, New York, the City Council's budget and capital improvement program for fiscal year 2022 is available for public inspection in the office of the city clerk, 200 East 3rd Street, Jamestown, New York, Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 4:30 p.m., legal holidays accepted, at the Prendergast Library, 509 Cherry Street, Jamestown, New York, and on the city's website at www.jamestowny.gov/budget. A summary of the City Council's budget and capital improvement program for fiscal year 2022 is as follows. City of Jamestown 2022 General Fund Budget. Expenditures. Salaries, $18,019,639.23. Benefits, $12,130,940.86. Contractual, $5,356,494. Debt service, $1,961,375.84. Agencies, $35,500. Capital, $1,300,000. Equipment, $129,570.16. Total, $38,933,520.09. Revenues, property taxes, $16,162,018. Miscellaneous revenues, $21,467,408.81. Fund balance appropriation, $1,304,093.28. Total, $38,933,520.09. Please take further notice that the City Council will hold a public hearing on Friday, November 19th, 2021, at 6 o'clock p.m. in the City Council Chamber, 2nd floor, Municipal Building, 200 East 3rd Street, Jamestown, New York, on the City Council's budget and capital improvement program for fiscal year 2022. Anthony Dole, City Council President.
Thank you. At this time, is there anyone here who would like to speak about the budget? Address the budget? Please step up.
I'm Doug Champ, live at 2225 Bowen Street, Jamestown, New York. I want to introduce something tonight, not just about the budget, but the problematic issue of having to actually have a public hearing on a Friday night. All you have to do in the preceding years is have this public hearing on the Monday before Thanksgiving. That day will never change. That day will be in effect. You won't have to worry about a weekend. You can hold the public hearing on a good day, not on a Friday night at 6 o'clock. For you guys, for the citizens, it's going to be much easier. Move it to the Monday before Thanksgiving. Deal done, simple, no problem, done forever. Now, I'm not going to concentrate on all of the budget, the benefit package. It is what it is. I have no desire to go into any of that. But what I do have a desire to do is to show you examples of what I think are followable issues within the combination of the general fund and the art fund. Because it's on the table. It's got a column that's associated with the general fund and it's in play. All of my comments refer to page 170, 171, 172. And we're going to start out with these examples. Out of the so-called general fund, the DPW gets $157,000. Out of the lost revenue, they get $750,000. The Parks Department gets $38,000 out of general fund and $310,000 out of lost revenue. Projects deal with the following. Parks Departments get $15,000 out of the general rental fund and $585,000 out of lost revenue. DPW gets $100,000 out of lost revenue. Fire Department, $533,000 out of the lost revenue. IT Department, $42,000. Admin, if you want to call it that. $15,000, that's for the kiosk downstairs. They also in there have an assessment revaluation, $300,000 on a lost revenue. The contingency account, $411,000. And I question whether or not that's even legitimate under lost revenue. It should be either undesignated or supportive, rather than contingency, which is kind of a vague term for everything. Personnel, $485,000, give a few. Now, this is my problem. Police department. General fund, nothing. Zero. Not a dollar. They have under the lost revenue $32,885 for one vehicle, and the portable radios of about $143,000. For a grand total for the police department, $177,260. If I haven't seen a budget that wants to defund the police department, this is the budget that does that. And my question is why? Why, when the ARP fund is supposed to be for public safety, public health, and economic recovery, and we have these ancillary projects, as I mentioned before, like a dog park and frisbee golf and whatever else you want to call as, quote, possible projects. And yet the police department sits there, and you've heard presentations, and I think maybe you'll hear more, about their needs. They haven't had a police vehicle for what, 10 years? And you ask them to do so much with what they have. And the personnel is all new personnel, by the way, kind of giving it an opportunity to be unfolded within the ARC funding as being necessary. Now I ask you all, what's more necessary? Police, fire, or ombudsman and park employees? That's a decision you have to make. I'm not making that decision, but you have to decide on that. But I heard a thing about secession from the DPW director. And I said before, secession is an HBO movie. We have as much of a problem with succession in the police and fire department, where they have to be trained for a long period of time to feel comfortable, be able to act and react in their situation. This equipment under an American Rescue Plan for the DPW, while being necessary, does not operate 24/7. Emergency at night, they may go out, it's harbored inside a garage or outside if you don't have a room. Police department vehicles, 3 shifts, they run them all the time, they idle them, they use them. And we get nothing for this? We get one vehicle? I don't get that. I really don't get it, especially when the ARP money is really supposed to be used in an intelligent way for public safety. That may come down the road, because under the ARP fund, as it commingles with this budget as being presented, it's about $3,600,000. Now, lingering out there is more money, which you might want to scope in for next year. But also, I hear no mention, and maybe there will be, tax rate decrease. Maybe that'll come about. But I have a real, as you can see, a difficulty understanding why this budget does everything possible to defund our police department. So I'll rest that case with these numbers, and this is the math. Kim knows the math as well as anyone I know. And the issues at hand deal with this. This is what's being presented to the community as a viable budget. And you want to defund the police department. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else who would like to speak to the public here?
Good evening, council members, mayor. I spoke at the last council meeting. My name is Sam Piazza. I'm the Kennel Club president, the PBA president of the Kennel Club. Just want to reiterate kind of what I said in the meeting the other night, and kind of piggyback on what Doug stated. In the executive budget, I was talking to Chief Jackson. He had a wish list, which came to him, was asked, hey, what, out of a wish list, what would you like to have? Well, he said he'd like to have 5 police vehicles. He'd like to do the Glock trade-in, get new guns for the men and women that work downstairs. A reality-based training for the range. That would also help with reality-based training. It'll put officers in different types of scenarios, shoot, don't shoot types of scenarios. Upgrades to our police range, trauma kits for officers to put in cars, not only to use on officers if they're injured, but possibly civilians. So out of all of that, it was $164,000 for 5 vehicles. What is allocated in the lost revenue fund is only $32,885. So there was nothing funded from the general fund. Out of the gun purchase request is $9,000. It wasn't even brought in either the general fund nor the lost revenue fund. The reality-based training, same, wasn't funded either in either of the plans. The upgrade for the range, same difference, not funded in either the general fund nor the lost revenue. Trauma kits, which is a very big deal to somebody who has trauma either from a gun wound, stab wound. Nothing was funded either through the general fund or the lost revenue fund. We were lucky enough to get new portable radios, 1 for each officer, and that's in tune for $144,000 that was added in the lost revenue fund. My question is, without these funds from the American Rescue Plan, were we not going to budget anything for the police department? But again, Doug kind of, nobody came out and said we're going to defund the police department, but where's the funding for the police department? The guys and girls that come to work every day downstairs need the equipment to make sure they do their job safely. It's just, it's frustrating. Chief Jackson, during a labor management meeting, I brought to the fact that there's probably 16, 17 officers that have expired vests. He took it upon himself, out of the drug seizure money that we had, to purchase new vests for officers. Again, I don't believe that should come out of his budget, or not his budget, but the drug seizure funding. Again, that should be something that comes from here. Again, I'm grateful for the radios, and I'm grateful for the 1 new police car. But again, that's the price of doing business. The managers of the city need to provide for its employees to do their job and do it correctly. So, the radios, I brought up with that. There's to get those up to par for us to communicate with the other outside agencies, it's about $1,000 per radio. I believe it's, the total cost now is like $210,000 roughly. So, but again, I think it's a minimal cost for the safety of the men and women that protect the civilians and the residents of the city of Jamestown. So, thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else who would like to speak? Step up.
I'm Tamara Dickey. I live at 18 West 10th Street. And I too want to support the budget proposals and items that Mr. Piazza just mentioned and others mentioned, because I have been very blessed in our community over the summer based on the behaviors of the Jamestown Police Department. We were in a somewhat dangerous situation on 10th Street this summer, and we are very thankful. I have expressed our concerns, had expressed it to, Officer, Reinhardt and to the mayor, that we are, and also we're very thankful on 10th Street. There are a lot of senior citizens on 10th Street, and we need the police department. And we actually need to see more presence by the police department. So they need to be provided the resources that they need to get their jobs done. Now, that's the first thing I want to mention, is the police department, I don't know if the word is defund or reduced budget or whatever you want to call it. We've got to give the police officers the resources, both human capital and system resources that they need to make sure they have the intelligence and they have the equipment and the weapons that they need. Again, my husband and I are both senior citizens. Many of you know many people on 10th Street, and we have had a lot of issues, and we continue to have a lot of issues. And we need you to give them what they need to protect this city, because you're gonna have a real bad situation when some elderly person gets cracked over the head or gets killed for $5 or $10. People are walking up and down the street. They're on all kinds of drugs. And many of you know the noise control. You can't get anything done. You can't sleep at night. And without our police department and our support from them, we are not going to do well here in Jamestown. So that's all I know. Wherever the money is going, I did review the resource package along with the American Rescue budget. And so I want to support them in saying the police department must be funded in every avenue in Jamestown.
Thank you. Is there anyone else who would like to address the council? I'll ask a second time. Anyone else like to address the council on the hearing? Before I ask the third time, is there any council members that have any questions or comments before me?
I will just add to the fact that I know I have been very vocal about splitting these two budgets, and when I spoke with the controller on Wednesday, that is in the process. So the direction of this council, I feel, is to vote only on the general fund budget on the 29th. So it's a little different than what we've been hearing and seeing with both budgets. So I also want to note that just because something may not be in the general fund doesn't mean we're ignoring it 100%. So in that way, I'm still asking the council members to get me something so I can put together this weekend, and we can discuss all next week back and forth amongst us, the finance committee, and get these proposals out there for amendments to be brought forward on the 29th. Don't know how many, but I can guarantee you there will be some.
Thank you. Any other comments? And just the procedural, as you know, tonight, the hearing was basically on the executive budget, and there will be changes, as there usually is, as Kim mentioned. At this point, we would have to bring amendments from the floor on the 29th. Again, over the course of the next week or so, we will be putting those amendments together and getting them out to everybody to look at. And again, just to reiterate what Kim said about separating the two, using the ARPA funds at a later date to fund some of the things. And I know that people have come to us and loud and clear have talked about public safety issues. And, you know, it's my understanding that, you know, I can't speak for everybody, but I think that there will be some addition to that. And, you know, there also have been people that have asked us about where those funds are going to go and when we're going to put that out there. We will be, shortly after the budget's done, putting out the vote on the actual categories, the amount, and then as different projects come up or equipment purchases or whatever, then we would be voting on them piece by piece, a la carte. So I just wanted to get that out there that, you know, the budget goes first, the general fund budget, Then we will be voting on the American Rescue Plan, and then the specific pieces of equipment, or additions, or subtractions, or projects that are in the ARPA funds.
Correct.
Right.
And each item will be voted on by this council in all fairness. The public, we owe that to the public, and then we owe that to ourselves to do that.